Hi, my name is Renee, and I decided that I wanted a new hobby. So now I am going to do video blogs on whatever questions anybody has. I will give my opinion. Um, my name is Renee again, and I'm 20 years old. My birthday's in April. I'm married. I got married in April of this past year, so I'm still a newlywed. It's going to be our first Christmas as married, but like our second or third together. I'm from Indiana and my husband is from Arizona. I met him online. It was something I never thought would happen. But what do we think is going to happen in our lives? Because I couldn't have ever thought that I was going to meet my husband on meetme.com. I was on there just messing around, having a good old time, and then it hit me. I think I might marry him one day. But who's to say he wasn't some weird old man or old lady, whatever. I just had to get past that and face a fear. But I was also talking of starting over. It all began when I was with my best friend that I've been friends with since I was 8. We were together and he was in the Navy and things didn't go so well. Being away from each other, I was 15 years old when we first got together, and then it didn't end well. And we ended up breaking up on April 15th of 2010. It was very different. And then Cameron came into my life. He helped me through so much. Because at that time my parents were starting to get through the divorce stage, deciding that they want to get a divorce. And me, I took it really hard. So I had Cameron there to help me the whole way. We talked until July area, and then he asked my mom if he could be with me. So we got together, and we were long distance for about a year and a half. We lost contact for half a year. Things happen. So I've had more ways that I had to think about to start over. Well, I graduated high school in June of 2011, and my parents were split. My dad moved out, and my mom still stayed in that home where we originally were. Um, we, I moved in with my dad. I love my dad, and I didn't think it was fair. But who does? When you're old enough to understand that they're getting divorced, you tend to ask why. Because I don't believe in divorce unless it's absolutely necessary. But hey, if you fall out of love with each other, get a new start. Just what this is about today. Or tonight, I should say. But after that, we found each other again. And then he came out here in December. And it was really nice. It was December 22nd of 2011. He came out here and surprised me at the airport. And he moved out to Indiana pretty much. He just came to visit me from Arizona. He just came to visit me. But he decided he was going to stay because he thought that life in Indiana would be better than Arizona, especially with me. So, we were together. We were living with my dad and my mama Jan, my stepmom. And things were going really good. Except for he couldn't find a job. He applied everywhere and he still couldn't get a job. And that was really hard for us because we were trying to help out with bills and stuff. Because we were trying to get on our own. Well, March 2nd, I started, March 2nd of 2012. I was like, okay, we're moving to Arizona. First time, we needed something new. We needed a fresh start. We moved up to Michigan, and we were only there for a month, and we figured, there's not that many jobs up here, and this is not where any of our family is. So the conclusion that I came to was that maybe we should just move to Arizona. So we moved in with my dad, and then a few days later, we, for the first time, left for Arizona. I'd never been here before. I've been lots of other places, but not Arizona. Well, and I'm sorry I'm talking so much about myself, but this is all of the trials, and everything that I've been through to get where I am now and starting fresh. We moved out here the first time, and it was for me to go to college. It was Arizona School of Massage Therapy, and it was the best school for myself because it helped me find out who I was and what I wanted out of life. You know, I was scared because everything was new. I had nobody out here except for my fiance because that's what we were at the time. And I did it. I went to college and I really enjoyed it. 7 months later, I was very proud of myself because I was away from my family for 7 months doing college. Never thought I would move out of state for it, but I did. So during that 7 months, it was the hardest for me and my husband because we were pushed to the limits on so many things. We moved out here on a whim, pretty much. We thought we had things planned out, but we didn't. So before you do anything, make sure you plan. Plan ahead. Because if you don't, and you do like we did and just come out here on a whim, it's gonna suck, and you're not gonna have anything stable. We ended up moving in with a friend of my husband's. It was nice for the first few months, but then things took a downside. My husband, he had a job, but it wasn't steady. And I couldn't get a job because I was in school, and school was hard enough for me. I had homework, and I know a lot of people work when they're in college, but for me, my emotions were just stretched too thin. So personally, I couldn't go to school and work because I couldn't keep up with everything. And I wanted to do my best in school. There were several times that I got sick in school. Several. But I still managed to graduate almost half of my class. I was really proud of myself. But while I was going to school, things at home weren't the best. My husband lost his job because it was telemarketing. Telemarketing's not that great unless you can make pitches and sell. All you gotta do to make money is sell. But a lot of people don't answer the phones when telemarketers call. I know I don't. Because I already have insurance. I don't need windows. I don't need whatever they give us. Right? Am I right? So after that, we went through a lot. My husband's family didn't like me for the longest time. They really didn't. I don't know what was wrong with me. I don't know if it was because I'm not from a wealthy family. I don't know if it was because I'm a bigger girl. I don't want to be skinny. I like having some meat on my bones. Cushion, come on. And a lot of people, they dog on us big girls. But I am proud of myself. I am proud of who I am. And my personality means more to me than my outside skin. I mean, can my skin talk? No. No. And that will be another topic for another day. But anyways, I know it's been about 9 minutes now. I'm new to this, so I don't know how long it's supposed to be. So I apologize for it being so long. But since it's my first video, I'm not going to delete it and start over again. I'm just going to let it go and let it be. Anyways, so while we were going through school, we went through a lot. I almost lost my husband because of his family. I almost lost him. They thought that they knew what he wanted. But we were just going through a really, really hard time. with our roommates, you know, we went through hell and back with them. And I'm sorry for cussing, not meaning to. But we did so much for them and got little in return. And when we moved out, they still wanted more money. But I did make some friendships. You know, there's still some positives about, starting fresh. That was the first time. Well, then I graduated. I graduated in October. And we decided that it was better for us just to move back to Indiana. Get out of Arizona, move back to Indiana. I missed my family. I really did. I was 19 years old, just turned 19 in April of that year, and I wanted to go home. I had a brand new nephew. He was literally born a few months before we left. So I left all of that behind to follow my dreams. And sometimes that's what you have to do, no matter what. No matter how you want to start fresh, sometimes you might have to give up things. You just might have to. And it's hard sometimes. But that's how it is. Now, I don't like that song. Let's just turn that off. Okay. But, what do I think? I was glad that I moved back to Indiana after that. I really was. I got to see my nephew. I got to see my family, And when we moved out to Rochester, I found a job. And my husband found a job too, but he also then found a better job. But turns out he should have stuck with the job he had. So even though moving back, we went through some things. But we ended up living on our own. We got a dog. We got 3 cats. We were doing good for ourselves. We got into a studio, which, as a lot of you know, it's not a 1-bedroom. It's your living room and bedroom together. And I would not recommend it for 2 people, even if you are together. Because sometimes you just need your space, and anybody can agree with me on that. But we did really well in Indiana. But then I wanted more. And my husband missed his family, so I understood that completely. Definitely understood it. I've been there, I've done it. He spent the last 2 Christmases with my family, so it's my turn to be here in Arizona. So in September, we decided to move back to Arizona. And this time, we planned. When we moved back to Indiana, my mom let us stay with her, and so did my dad. We stayed there off and on after we moved back. So that was good. We had somewhere to go. Now we're back in Arizona, and it took a lot of saving up to get here. It really did. I had to save up a lot of my paychecks, and we looked around everywhere for nice apartments, because out here, I live in Mesa, Arizona now, and out here you don't know where you can live that you don't get shot. And I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but a lot of the places out here are very, very horrible with shootings and everything. It's unnerving some days. I mean, the apartment we live in right now, within like the first 2 weeks of moving here, there was a SWAT team out our front door. So what was I supposed to think? Like, oh my God, there's a SWAT team. Well, we made it out safely, obviously. I'm still here. So is he. He's just at work right now. That's a lot of information. I'm sorry. But, getting here this time was kind of hard. Leaving my family for the second time was harder than the first time. Even though I had my husband with me, it was still really hard leaving those I loved, friends and family. Because they're a part of you. You've been with them your whole life. or however long you've been with them. You might have just met your family, but if you know that there's somewhere else that you want to be, then go there. You have to follow your dreams. If I didn't follow mine, I wouldn't be married to my husband. I wouldn't be where I am today, and I am a better person today because of all this. Things would be so different if we were still in Indiana. But the hardest thing about the move was leaving my family. But we planned ahead this time. I called so many apartments, and some of them turned us down. They did. Because we were trying to move into an apartment as soon as we got here from Indiana. Well, after all saving up money, finding out how much it was going to cost, we did it. We ended up selling. The thing that made us really want to leave Indiana is because we couldn't do it on our own. We couldn't. And we are like, you know what? There are better opportunities out there somewhere else. There really are. Because I'm from a small town. There's more people than there are jobs. And if there are jobs, they're not full time. And if they are, the benefits suck. Let's just put it out there. Most of the time, benefits suck. No matter where you are. But my husband and I, we were lucky enough that my husband got a call from the hospital because he turned his app in. And my husband got an interview for the hospital. So we knew that we would have a job. That's what I mean by we planned ahead. My husband made sure he had a job before we got out here. A really good job. He makes $10 an hour, 40 hours a week. And that is really good for us because our rent right now is $643.06. It's very expensive. But out here in Arizona, that's what one bedrooms run. You might find one for $450, but they're really crappy. Or if you find one for like $560, good. But the one that we were looking at was right next to where he was going to work. One of the trials of getting out here was my family, they were scared for us because of what happened the last time we were here. I had to have the faith, which I did. I had faith that it was going to work out. But a lot of my family and friends didn't. My sisters didn't want me to leave, but they knew that it meant a lot to me. And that me and my husband, we felt something, It was really hard leaving, especially when I had a lot of family mad at me. But, I left. And I did, and I'm glad I did. Because things have gotten so much better. You are going to go through so many trials in your life that's going to it's going to try to make you quit on everything. Number one, don't quit. Follow through anything you start. Unless it's something bad, then don't follow through. But what I'm saying is follow your heart and don't let anybody stop you. Because if I would have let people stop us, even though I felt it was right, then it would have not ended well. It wouldn't have. But I did it. And I'm out in Arizona. We went through so much crap. So much from family members like, oh, it's going to be like the last time. And, make sure you have a job before you go anywhere or move anywhere. If you are on your own or even with your boyfriend, make sure you guys have a job. Because you need some stability or you're going to wind up on the street. And nobody wants that for you. My parents, my mom, she was upset when I was leaving. She was trying to get me to stay and let my husband go. You know what? And maybe that would have worked out better if my husband came out here first. But we did it the way we did it. And I came out here with my husband. I flew out with him. And we stayed with our friends for a week. We did. We stayed with our friends for a week until our apartment was ready. And then we moved in that Friday. We moved in, and now we live on our own. You know, we've been living on our own for a while now. We have a beautiful one-bedroom apartment. You know, we're doing very good for ourselves. We really are. Yes, it took a lot to get here. You have to make sure you have a job. You have to make sure that you are ready emotionally. Because the first time, I wasn't. I had just had a nephew and I was not ready to move. So you have to be sure that it is what you want in your heart and in your mind. You have to make sure that you want it. You want it more than anything you've ever wanted in your life. You know, whether it be for yourself or for a guy, don't move unless you plan. Starting fresh isn't easy. It's never easy. Some people, they might say that it's really easy. But for me and people like me, it was really hard to start fresh. But I did it. And now I have a job at the hospital too. You know, I start next Tuesday. It all took a lot of perseverance. A lot of perseverance. You know, you have to be willing to do whatever it takes. You have to want it. If you want to start fresh, you have to want it. So the main things that you need to do are plan ahead, want it more than anything. Know that it is right. If you want to move, I'm not trying to persuade anybody. I'm just letting you know that if you want to start fresh, it's okay. Yes, it's going to be hard. It might not be, but it might be, you know, and you just have to follow your heart. Have faith, but plan ahead, or you will get stuck like I did. Now, I love giving advice, and I love that I got this because yes, the video might be 22 minutes long, but if you were one that needed to know that there was somebody else like you, then this is for you. It really is. And I couldn't be more happier than to do this for you. But, you know, like I said, you are going to go through trials and tribulations. And if it's anything like it did to me, it will make you a better person. It really will. And I know you're probably looking around my room and you notice that Pokemon poster. That is my husband's. He might be 23, but he will always be a little kid. And that's okay, because we all have a little bit of little kid in us, right? Well, more about me is, this is my wedding. These are my sisters. And that's my husband. There's our wedding pictures. Now, first vlog, done. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask, and I will talk about them. I know that this one ran a little long, but sometimes that's what it takes, is for you to hear a story and then relate to it. But I went, like I said, I went through a lot of trials and tribulations to starting fresh. But it can be done, and you can do it. I promise. And if you need any help, this is my YouTube blog, and I will continue to do it every day for as long as it takes. It's my new hobby, so bring it on. Have a good day, everybody.